Hello, YouTube. Today I'm going to be talking about a number of topics. My first topic is Steve Harvey. He did two mistakes with Paula Deen and the slavery comment, but I feel that people should forgive him and let it go. If you don't fuck with him, you don't fuck with him, I understand. But I don't think it's necessary to just keep crapping on dude. He's not as bad as Raven and Don Lemon and other coons. I know that he made some coon comments, but damn. He at least tries to give black and help black males, which they desperately need, because we all know there's an attack and a war on black males. Because the thought process is, if you take down the strongest member of the leader, which is the black man, you can destroy the whole race. Black people have to stop attacking their own. White people don't put all they messed up celebrities on blast the way black people do. Like, I wouldn't complain about Cosby and R. Kelly and all the other blacks that's full of doo-doo, because the white folks don't go after them. When the white people start going after their own the way they do our black men and our black celebrities when they screw up, then I think blacks should go after them. Other than that, I won't be saying anything derogatory toward the Steve Harveys and the Cosbys and the R. Kellys and the Chris Browns and etc. etc. No matter how wrong, I just said that. And another thing with white folks, they won't take away a white person's money or support just because they're a hot mess. I've noticed that black folks need to do that. That way we could grow as a race. Another thing, black people pull down and attack their own. That is why we are not further ahead. And then another thing, we got to stop hating on the successful black folks. I agree that they should give back more and they should talk more about black issues, but we can't pull them down either. Now I'm going to talk about Sam Club CEO Rosalind Brewer. When she asked for more diversity, she was accused of racism. And they basically want her to work at the company but don't expect change. Basically, blacks have to stop expecting equality when they're working on a plantation. You got to work on the plantation, either work on the plantation, deal with their BS, and come home and pay for your house and your car and your family, or get your own business. That's it. You cannot expect a race society that benefits from black oppression to all of a sudden give you equality. That's just not going to happen. The only way you're going to do that is by doing it with your money. You got to either take your money away from them or either make your own stuff. I'm going to talk a little bit about Crystalline Kerzin. I noticed that she was backing up the Jacob Mason guy that was on one of the social media sites with "I love chocolate" on his shirt. And she's all, you should be flattered that a white dude likes black women and what makes them special and all that. And I kind of see why black men call her a bed wench. I'm not going to call her that. I don't know the woman, but I see why black men wouldn't like her. She seems to throw black men on the bus. On one of the videos I watched, she was talking about black men and women usually have a higher income when they're in a couple than the black man and the white woman. And that the black man is scared that he won't be able to have access to the mixed light-skinned chicks that he likes. Because they're going to prefer white men because that's what they're used to. I mean, she didn't say it like that, but she might as well have. And another thing with her, she never sticks up for black men or calls attention to the issue. She seems to focus primarily on interracial dating, which is fine, but I don't think you need to throw black men under the bus just because you like white penis. You know, if you prefer white dudes, great, but you don't have to just crap on black men. And then she was like, well, why do black men feel suspicious of white men who claim to love black women? Well, it does seem kind of gimmicky for the guy to get on a social media site with a t-shirt that says, "I love black women." If he prefers black women, he just got to say it. That's kind of the problem with too many interracial relationship people. It's not all of them, but too many of them kind of make it a big deal when it shouldn't be. And then I'd be suspicious too, is this guy proclaiming his love for black women for attention and for likes, or does he truly have a preference? And then it feels like, okay, well, why do you have to be validated by a white dude? That's another thing. Don't get me wrong. If you prefer white dudes, that's great. But you don't. Why do you? How do I put this? You should know that you're beautiful. You shouldn't need validation from dominant society. I'm going to talk about Robert Perkins and the lovely T being blocked from Facebook. Robert Perkins put up a post about Steve Harvey apologizing to the Miss Universe pageant, but not for slavery comment. And he put, coons will always be sorry to everyone but black folks. So he got taken down for that. But I noticed, and I've heard several times, that they don't pull down white racist videos or Klan member videos. But when blacks are racist or argue against white supremacy, they're pulled down. That's crazy. I forgot why T got suspended from Facebook, but I noticed that anyone who is black and about black empowerment and tell black folks stop acting so ignorant and advance their race and do intelligent things and, you know, try to make some of yourself so you can support your own, Facebook seemed to have a problem with that. I'm going to talk about Ayesha Curry and Steph Curry now. She said she likes to dress conservatively. Other women took offense, and one asked, did she think she was better than her? I think people felt offended because they knew it was some truth to what she said. I mean, I'm not in shape right now, but when I get in shape, I intend to dress very provocatively. I intend to show everything. However, I know I got to pay a price. I can't go home with a dude at the club and think that he's going to just sit and drink tea and we're going to talk and have this wonderful getting to know each other session. You can't present yourself like a loose woman and then get mad when a dude treats you that way. I think the Ayesha Curry chick had a point. She didn't say other women have to do this, but I mean, women have to realize there is a price you pay for dressing a certain way. And I think some women got offended because they knew what she was saying was true. I think that's really why she got a backlash. It wasn't so much what she said, it's how she was kind of preaching to people, trying to let them know, hey, look, if you want a good man or a man that's about something, you kind of got to step your game up and present yourself like a wife. Now, I personally think there's a time and a place to be sexy. I think the club and the beach is great. I don't think church, school, and work are. You can't expect to be taken seriously if you always got your assets out. And then another thing I watched by Boyce Watkins called NBA Player Shows Off His Jewelry. He had $750,000 worth of jewelry, and that's 40% of his salary. Basically, athletes have to be taught that, hey, look, you need to invest in some of these franchises. You need to get you a brick and mortar business and do stuff that's going to make you money. Don't just give your money away. Boyce was talking about how too many black people give their money back to whites. That's another reason black people aren't prospering, because we don't have enough businesses like the Indians and the Asians. I know I'm being a dead horse, but black folks need to do that. And another thing, flossing is more important than investments. I understand that that's a big issue in the black community, that a lot of times our self-esteem is tied to our possessions, because we usually are taught to survive instead of thrive. You know, we're not brought up to invest. We're not brought up to build businesses and build up the community and keep the money within the race. We're usually brought up to buy Nike and Cadillacs, and which is fine if you can afford it. You got to take into account you need to be building a legacy. He also said that rule number 1 of wealth building, Dr. Boyce, is don't give your money away. And another thing, do not brag about how much money you have, because that's going to make you a target. Like, for instance, I live in the hood. I live in Cleveland, Ohio. I know not to walk down the street with a Louis Vuitton bag. Can't afford a Louis Vuitton bag, but if I could, I wouldn't be walking down the street with it. You know, you can't make yourself a target and wonder why people hit you upside the head and take your stuff. And you basically, anybody will tell you, I read a book called The Millionaire Next Door. Most of the financial books will tell you live below your means. You know, don't ball out of control. That way you can keep your money and keep investing. Another lady I like that's on Boyce Watkins is called Cynthia G. She made a video talking about stop marching and start saving your money. Basically she said buy black, stop supporting big corporations if you can. A lot of big corporations fund black oppression and police killing. Buy as much as you can from blacks. Only buy what you need from other races. Basically other races profit from your oppression. Another good video by Boyce Watkins was don't raise your son to be an employee. Raise him to be a businessman. Blacks raise their kids to survive and not thrive, like I said before. Blacks should be employees for a short time until they can buy their own business and the business becomes profitable. I've read somewhere that it takes 5 years for a business to become profitable. So basically you got to save enough to buy the business and then work another 5 years to make it profitable. Basically, you need to grab some books and learn how to invest your money. And to me, my goal is to have a brick and mortar business. Maybe a laundromat, maybe a restaurant, maybe a rental house, something like that. Eventually get a few franchises from that. And then on top of that, have stocks, bonds, and a savings account where if something happened, I have at least 6 months of money in it so that I'm not out in the street or anything. I'm gonna discuss black unity too. Women and men need to stop fighting one another and being petty. Black men and women are too busy fighting over dumb stuff when they need to be building up the community. Blacks throw one another under the bus way too much, especially for these little penny ante jobs that'll throw away both of you. They also aren't parenting their kids properly. You gotta teach black kids that look, you black, you can't do what your white buddies do and not catch a bullet or behind beat. You also gotta teach them that it's not good enough just to have a job. Try to at least go to trade school. I can see not going to college because right now it's not, depending on what you go into, it can pay off. But let's be honest, the economy is really bad. So I don't blame people for trying at least trade school instead of college. Then another thing that really irritates me is black people still go for the divide and conquer. Basically, you still fighting over colorism when no matter what color you come out, you're still coming out of the same type of people. That's just ridiculous to me. We still fight black women and men over who gets more jobs, who has it easier, and all this dumb stuff. And we also fight over classism, which I think is just crazy. We too busy trying to be the only black that's successful because we got a thought process that it can only be one. If we stop working for these white folks or choose whether we work for them or not, we can stop all the crabs in the bucket stuff. And that there can only be one thought process. That's what's wrong with the Wendy Williams and the Don Lemons and the Ravens. They on these racist networks that basically tell them they have to coon to keep their job. Now me, I wouldn't want to be in that position. That's all I got to say about that. Another thing that irritates me is black people, for some reason, we come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. We come from different families and different ways of life, but for some reason, we're all supposed to think alike. That has always been psycho to me. There's no way in hell somebody raised by one set of parents and one that's raised from another is going to have the same exact thought process. Black folks have to stop that. Okay, that's all I want to talk about today. Y'all have a nice day.